The Xbox Series S has finally been confirmed as the smallest Xbox ever at $299 US. Right, that's that bit out of the way. Let's take a big round wet dump on Electronic Arts. We're dumping on EA again, I'm dancing in the background. Alright, hang on. Alright, I'm back. Electronic Arts recently caused a backlash because it was trying to cram full commercials into a video game, because of course it bloody well was. Of course Electronic Arts tried to get away with actual commercials in the video games it's selling for money. Fucking pricks. Just fucking bricks. Now, the video game industry is full of bullshit, and the AAA video game industry is no stranger to corporate tie-ins, product placements, and even the occasional ad. Electronic Arts certainly is no stranger to sponsorships on top of the microtransactions and the loot boxes, and the season passes, and the DLC, and the special editions, and the other forms of intercompany promotion that EA and other companies routinely engage in while telling us that there's just not enough money to go around. However, with UFC 4, Electronic Arts did what Electronic Arts does best: take things too fucking far and piss everyone the fucking off. Well, that's gonna get this video demonetized. Why do I keep saying fuck within the first 3 minutes of a video? Fuck! This isn't like a logo in a loading screen or something. Look at this shit, it's fucking pop-ups! The most notorious of which being a full-screen video advert for Amazon's The Boys. Usually, video games are at least somewhat subtle about the stacks of cash they're getting from other companies to hawk their shit. But in this case, during replays and overlays, people were getting these full fucking intrusive ads. On top of that, people find the timing of the appearance of these commercials pretty effing suspicious. I don't know why I've bothered saying effing now. People feel like ads appearing about 2 weeks after the game launched, you know, after all the reviews had come out, might have been just a touch dishonest. It's also not uncommon. We've seen Activision do this with microtransactions. We've seen other companies other than Activision do this with microtransactions. Put the game out, get people buying it, get positive reviews that don't mention anything, get people invested in your product and its ecosystem, and then start trying to needle more money out of them. It happens too often in the video game industry to not be deliberate. And if it's not about getting positive reviews, it's certainly about getting people invested first. This idea of adding nasty little monetary practices into games post-launch really lends a fresh perspective to the phrase buyer beware, which is a phrase some people like to throw around to defend microtransactions and ads and all these other shitty monetary practices. Well, you know, caveat emptor, buyer beware. Yeah, well, how can buyer beware when buyer be ambushed all the time? Anyway, it's suspect as bloody hell, and I'm not inclined to give Electronic Arts the benefit of the doubt because it's doing what the game industry has been doing for years, which is what all these publishers end up doing when people expect any benefit of any doubt provided their way. So, screw 'em there. Sneaky little fuckers, that's what they are. They're sneaky little fuckers, and they got caught out, and people got upset, just like with Star Wars Battlefront 2, Electronic Arts overreached, pushed the envelope, tried to see what it could get away with, and failed. By the way, this whole situation can be added to the list of things I've successfully called. In 2018, I said that I'm going to expect to see ads start popping up in games like this. Here's a clip from a Jimquisition from 2018. The study argues that video games are an increasingly seductive prospect for marketers due to the fact players can spend hours interacting with a game and are thus perfectly positioned for repetitive brand messaging. Also in 2017, a study by Delta DNA states that developers see ads as an important monetization opportunity, noting that mobile game developers have become less cautious and more confident about sticking ads in their games. Game makers, he argues, are also still fearful about increasing ad frequency per session, and as a result, many are still leaving a lot of cash on the table. This is borne out by the fact that average ad revenues are still only a third of total game revenues. Basically, he's saying that games could stand to have a lot more fucking ads in them, and I do fear that's where we're headed, because I've long since stopped putting a single damn thing past the game industry, and they've already layered so much additional monetization, so many obscene levels of additional money-making opportunities onto their products that at this point more obtrusive in-game adverts only look like a natural step. After all, why just sell a product when you can sell it and then turn your customers into the product as well, their mental real estate being sold to the highest marketing bidder. According to additional reports, it seems that ads have also been patched into UFC 3, letting players of the previous installment also know that The Boys Season 2 is available as an Amazon original. Can I have some money, Amazon? I just gave you a little show a plug. I'm not seeing it. I've heard mixed things. I'm probably not gonna see it. But like I said, Electronic Arts has failed due to not being subtle enough, because Electronic Arts and subtlety go together like Electronic Arts and ethical behaviour. So there was a backlash, Electronic Arts has relented and the ads have been removed. But not before EA tried to defend itself in a mealy-mouthed fashion. Naturally. Earlier this week, the team turned on ad placements in EA Sports UFC 4 that appeared during the replay moments in gameplay. This type of advertising inventory is not new to the UFC franchise. Fuck off! Though we have typically reserved displaying ads to specific main menu titles or Octagon logo placement, it is abundantly clear from your feedback that integrating ads into the replay and overlay experience is not welcome. You don't fucking say. The advertisements have been disabled by the team and we apologise, and how ironic, I was reading this from the Kotaku page and a fucking ad went up and covered the quote. Get a screen grab of that, Jesus. Anyway, the advertisements have been disabled by the team and we apologise for any disruption to gameplay that players may have experienced. We realise that this should have been communicated with players ahead of time, and that's on us. It's always on you. I've brought this up before. I'll finish off the quote. We want to make sure our players have the best possible experience playing EA Sports UFC 4, so ad integration in the replay and overlay experience will not be reappearing in the future. Right, back to what I was saying, right? That's on us. We should have communicated with players ahead of time, they say, right? EA, you do this all the time. You pull the same bullshit every single time and then justify your behaviour with a whole bunch of woulda, coulda, shouldas. In fact, I do believe, I'm almost completely certain that I have asked the question I'm about to ask before. Last year, in fact. How many times, EA, do you need to learn the same lesson? You didn't learn it with Star Wars Battlefront 2. You didn't learn it with the games that came before. There's a Jimquisition somewhere, I think from last year, where I went through the list of all the things EA's done and said sorry for and said they'll do better next time, and they've learned their lesson. And they don't. This is a routine. This whole thing is a performance at this point. Like the post-patching in of bullshit business models, it happens too often for it to be an accident. Or, well, I'll do what I usually do and I will leave the door open for that one other option. Electronic Arts really is somehow truly that fucking ignorant, stupid, pathetic, and useless, that it could keep making the same mistakes time and time again, keep claiming it's learned its lesson and learning nothing. But you know what? I don't believe Electronic Arts is that stupid. I believe Electronic Arts, like Ubisoft, or like Activision, like all of these companies, think we are the stupid ones. And while there's no shortage of corporate defenders lining up to prove Electronic Arts right, there are plenty of us that can see exactly what you're doing, EA. Like some of us have been in the game long enough to see these patterns, spread out over years of trackable routine behaviour. Let's be completely honest here. There's one reason you tried this. You wanted to see if you could get away with it. It's what the game industry does. This is the beginning of something you'd like to see widespread across the industry. Isn't that right, EA? Because you know full well that this kind of stuff is rife all over the mobile gaming market, which, let's face it, is where you and your fellow corporations steal most of your business ideas from. Except unlike on the mobile market, where most of these exploitative, manipulative games are, at least, free, you want to keep cramming them into your $60 base price games that next generation will apparently be $70 base price games. I still check in on mobile games here and there just to see what fresh hell awaits us, and you know, the ad stuff is huge. It's been huge for years and years and years. Some games offer free in-game currency or something in exchange for you sitting through a 30-second video ad. There are often ad-free premium versions of games. And then there are some games that, you know, just have ads in them. And there is no chuffing way AAA video game publishers have not seen all this and do not covet all of this. Just be on the lookout and brace yourself. A new generation's coming, and with it could come a whole host of new, ever more shocking forms of monetization. We all know well enough that if EA had gotten away with putting these full ads into UFC 4, that would only have been the beginning. And it may still do, because remember, this is something the game industry likes to do as well. Push the envelope real far, then scale back to something that would have been way more unacceptable if it wasn't a backtrack. It's a kind of artificial compromise, and it's one we don't fucking fall for here, which is why at least it doesn't have loot boxes has never been a good excuse for anything in a game. Putting ad breaks into their perpetually overcharging, constantly charging games sounds like AAA publisher nirvana to me. And no, friends, I don't like it.